It's Todd, and I'm in Louisville, Kentucky today at State Liquors. This was recommended to me by Ruben from the Bourbon Bros KY. So we're going to go check it out. All right, so we're going to check out their general shelves right now. Got some Angel's Envy, Horse Soldier, the Wild Turkey Rise. Oh wow, Rare Breed Rye, $39.99. That's really a great price for that. That's cheaper than I see it in Ohio. That's crazy. Penelope lineup. So these are actually really nice prices that I've seen so far. I don't expect to find any really allocated stuff on the shelf, but we'll check behind the counter later. So we have the Peerless Double Oak and the Toasted, $99.99, solid price, pretty standard. Although I see the Toasted a lot of times going for more than that. Some Larrikins. So I'm hearing a lot of really good things about them. I have not been to the distillery yet. I do plan on going at some point the next time I make it over in the Frankfurt area, in Lawrenceburg. But so they have some here, including single barrels, cognac, and they're small batch. The Russells. An Old Louisville. This is a 7-year. So the 10-year Old Louisville came out recently, and some of my friends got it and said it was just absolutely amazing, the 10-year. I have not been able to have it yet. So here's our Jack Daniels. We're looking at 136.7 on the rye. It's a pick. Wow, that's pretty good. And 129.1. It's not a pick on the regular Tennessee whiskey, but that's, let's see what warehouse we're in for this one. 1-04, so it is not Coy Hill. Coy Hill warehouses are 1-08 through 1-11 and 1-13. There is no 1-12. New riffs. There's that Bullet Bottled in Bond. I'm just not a Bullet fan. I have not tried the Bottled in Bond specifically, but all the Bullet I've tried, I've not liked any of it. So Bardstown, we have Disco 10, and then the Origin series. This is probably, actually this high wheat is probably my favorite Bardstown release that I've had. I think I prefer that over the Disco series, like the 11 that I've had. And of course the Whiskey Row series. Our standard Old Forester bottles. Prices here are all very standard. I'm not seeing stuff really marked up. So we got the Cooper's Craft 100 at $30.99. This is a pretty nice bottle. You don't see it as much as you do some of the others, but it is Brown Forman. A lot of people say that this took the place of Early Times, that the stuff that used to go into Early Times go into Cooper's Craft, but the black top, but I don't personally agree. I think the black top's a lot better than the Cooper's Craft. The Cooper's Craft is still good. Pikesville. Again, what a great starter rye for somebody who's new to rye, because it's very bourbon friendly, because it's a 51% rye. The Green River standard lineup. So this is a long set of shelves. They do have a lot of bottles here with solid prices. So here, this is Patrick's section. He loves to get his hands on some Dickel. So Hidden Barn, this is where Jackie Zahn went when she left Old Forester. It is actually produced by Neely Distillery. We have a batch 5 and a batch 1. I've had batch 1 and 2. I'm not super impressed, but I have not had the batch 5. And I know Jackie is fantastic with what she does, but I think just what she's had to work with at this point hasn't reached the potential that she can really bring to it. So here we have a 1792 single barrel, $49.99. I'm not sure it's a pick. It doesn't look like a pick. It's just a standard single barrel. So they have a Russell's Reserve private barrel pick. It's $86.99. And it is a Camp Nelson E, 9-year. So Camp Nelson private barrel pick, $86.99. And they also have a Wild Turkey private selection, which is Warehouse, it's a Tyrone, TYQ. So you have a Tyrone pick for the rye, Wild Turkey for $69.99, and the Russell's private barrel pick at $86.99. That's Camp Nelson. So right now they have an Old Forester single barrel pick, the Black Label, 100 proof, $64.99. A very solid price on that. And I think they actually give samples here, so we're going to see if we can get a sample of that. They also have an Augusta Buckner's 10-year for $159.99. And here's the Jack Daniel's Rye. I think we saw that on the shelf earlier, $69.99, and it was a higher proof. It is 136.7. They also have a Maker's Mark private selection at $74.99. Now, personally, I'm not a Maker's Mark fan, but there are a lot of people who love it. So if you're interested in a private selection, they do have that as well. A staple on everybody's shelf, the Old Grandad 114. They have it here for $24.99. So they have their Buffalo Trace at $27.99. They have an Angel's Envy private barrel pick at $89.99. Some Starlight Huberner. Again, that's one that I particularly don't care for much, but it's $49.99. And not saying their pick, but just Starlight in general, I don't really like. Their McKenna 10-year, $59.99. $29.99 for the 1792 small batch. And they do have the Handles of Sass at $56.99, as well as the 750s. Your Traveler, if you want Traveler, they have it. The Buffalo Trace 1-liter bottles, $34.99. So if you're looking for something of a different size, they do have Weller Special Reserve here, $49.99, which is actually a pretty good price outside of Ohio compared to other places I've seen in Kentucky. And some of the mixtures line up. The Single Barrel Rye, Sour Mash, American Whiskey. So I am going to try their Old Forester single barrel pick. They're 100 proof. These are so hard for me to pass up when I find them at a good price, even if though I have like 10 of them. So we're going to give this one a try. All right, so we're going to try that Old Forester single barrel pick. It's always hard to get the nose off these little samples, but I am getting some caramel off there. I'm expecting this to be very sweet. Oh yeah, that's very nice. That's very nice. That's classic Old Forester. That is burnt caramel, a little bit of oak. And even what I love about the 100 proofs is they have so much flavor, even though they're proof down, and they still have a great mouthfeel. So I'm going to be walking out of here with one of these bottles, just because it's hard to pass up at that price for sure. So they do have a Larrikin you can try here. You can see back here the bottles you can try, and one of them is their Larrikin single barrel. Now this is not a store pick, I was told. This is a single barrel just bottled and sent from the distillery. And I've heard so much about it, I just really want to give this a try. So let's look at this Larrikin. So that's definitely got some like vanilla, strong vanilla on the nose. It's 118 proof. I'm not really getting any ethanol on it. It's really just vanilla forward. Wow, so the palate does not match the nose on that at all. Palate's far more complex. It's got a lot of baking spice to it. A lot of nutmeg. It's got a really, really nice finish. Still going. Like, I don't know the mash bill on that, but I would think that's a high rye. It's got a lot of baking spice to it, along with like some caramel notes. It's not really herbal. You got 21% rye, so it is a higher rye. Yeah, it's definitely got those baking spices with a lot of nutmeg. It's pretty good though. So behind the counter, they have some of their special bottles that are, you know, differently priced. These are going to be their more their exclusives, so they're going to be a little higher price, or they're going to be bundled. So we're going to go through and just kind of record these and maybe see what prices they have on them. You can always ask for the prices. They'll let you back here to kind of see what they got, and they'll tell you what they cost. I did ask. I'm not going to remember all these prices, so I might be asking the manager what some of them were. I'm going to point out some of the ones I think people might be a little more interested in. Now here they have some 4 gates. I know 4 gates very popular with a lot of people. They said their 4 gates are all $1.99, regardless of like what batch or release it is. So their 4 gates run $1.99. So there's the Woodfords, the Double Oak, and the Batch Proof 121.2, which was last year's release. So they have an Obtainium. And you know, Devin and I, we love the Obtainiums. We've talked about them several times. Now, I was told that this one was supposedly aged in 4 Roses barrels. I don't know if that's true because it does not say 4 Roses on it, unlike the ones we got that were aged in Stitzel Weller barrels. But this is 28 years old, and it is 81%, so 162 proof. So you've got a nice Obtainium there, supposedly aged in 4 Roses barrels. I'm not sure on the price on that. I will ask on that. Okay, I did ask, and that Obtainium is $150, which was actually the same price we had paid for the Stitzel Weller that was 28 years old. All right, so they have E.H. Taylor available. If you buy a bundle, their bundle is you buy a store pick, and it is any store pick. So if you want your Russells or a Wild Turkey or you know, the Old Forester, then you can get an E.H. Taylor at a specific price. For the small batch, it's $80. For the straight rye or single barrel, it's $150. And then for the barrel proof, and this is batch 13, is $279. So you buy a store pick and you can bundle together one of the E.H. Taylors at that price. So they have the Old Forester 117 series extra old. I did pick a bottle up today, but this is basically an aged 1910, which I love. And I'm very excited to open this and try it. Here they sell one bottle is $75, or if you buy a 2-bottle bundle, it is $140. They do also have the Augusta Buckner's 15. This particular one is bottle number, well, this one is bottle number 21, but it is 126.5 proof, and it is $2.99 for the Augusta 15 year. All right, so that was State Liquors in Louisville, and yeah, they had a pretty nice selection. They had some nice barrel picks and good prices on their barrel picks. Now, their like highly allocated bottles were around secondary, but a little bit less than I normally see at secondary, so it's not too bad. Definitely less than I see at a lot of other stores that want to sell that stuff, especially like with their each hit a small batch at 80, and I usually see that like well over 100, so that's not too bad. But talking to the manager, it appears that State Liquors is owned by kind of like the same group as John O's, which I talk about a lot. So I'm excited I got a couple of their store picks because John O's store picks are always so good. So yeah, if you're in town and if you're in Louisville, check out State Liquors. It was definitely worth the trip.